Surely in today's new economy, we can get the management of the whole ugly process of accounting down to, well, zero. Zero stress, low cost, and without the back office complications. Like we say, isn't there an app for that? Something near automatic with zero setup and zero conversion. A push-button, user-friendly accounting process and system that would give you a complete grasp of how your business is currently operating. The whole enchilada: client assessment, workflow, design, and implementation. Greetings, everyone. It's Friday, August 8th, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. Up to the Tech Talk, the evolution of cloud accounting and the introduction of Xero, a cloud-based platform innovation developed to support and manage the entire bookkeeping process, no matter what kind of bookkeeping support your company needs, be it bank and credit card reconciliation or simply a go-to source for supporting questions, even including bill pay, payroll, expense reporting, reconciliation, evaluations, and most important, no surprises. The Tech Talk takes an insider look at the future of your bottom line. Well, how to management in tomorrow's digital economy, as we speak with cloud computing pioneer Bruce Phillips, co-founder of the accounting firm Harshman, Phillips & Company. Bruce is a seasoned CPA and a passionate advocate for cloud technology. He has served as CFO and COO of tech startups and was an early adopter of cloud technology for accounting and other businesses. He's a well-known name in the software-as-a-service industry. Bruce has been a key beta tester for several cloud technologies and was profiled in as early as 2010 by Bill.com and SmartVault. Most recently, he was featured by Xero as its platinum partner. What is cloud accounting, and what is the difference between, cloud accounting and desktop solutions? Let's find out about who is and what is Xero, and is it another evolving disruptive technology enabled by the cloud? Let's find out a Tech Talk on cloud computing with an industry pioneer and managing member, co-founder of Harshman, Phillips & Company, Bruce Phillips. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Bruce, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hi, Frank. Glad to be here.
Well, it's a funny kind of thing that we talk about a lot of times, the different verticals we have an opportunity to gain insights on, and we'll say it's the same thing, only different. The impact of disruptive technologies on, say, the entertainment industry has been pretty obvious, but it's actually happened to almost every vertical. So again, I would think one of the consistent players in the change is accounting and keeping track of what would have been the normal processes of managing a business. So let's start out by talking a little bit about your discovery process and how you got into cloud accounting, and then a little bit specifically about what exactly that is.
Sure. So we were a traditional CPA firm for almost 20 years, and through some happenstance, I ended up investing and doing some CFO work for a technology company. And I learned a little bit about the cloud and data centers and servers, et cetera, et cetera. And basically, we were doing at the time, I guess, a hosted QuickBooks type product, which had been out a little bit, but it was still kind of early in the game. And then I ended up meeting the founder of Xero at a conference in Las Vegas about 2.5 years ago, and he was telling me what he was doing and how he was kind of reinventing what cloud accounting was and getting the software to the point that it made it fun and small business would actually use it and to get real-time data and all the other things that we're going to talk about. But I saw what he was doing, and I found it pretty exciting, and I jumped in with 2 feet. We kind of changed our practice, and within 6 months, we were actually Xero's #1 partner in the U.S., and I'm looking forward to kind of talk about what that is and what that means today.
Well, I was going to say probably a lot of our listeners, some may be familiar with Xero, most probably won't be.
Sure.
So maybe just a brief overview of what it is they do.
Sure.
Then we can get into a little bit more granular as to the relationship.
Sure. So basically, Xero is a cloud accounting platform. Many of you have heard of Intuit, which is QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, which we're going to talk about. And there's also others like Sage and Peachtree and Mass 90 and Microsoft Dynamics if you kind of go up market. But Xero is a cloud accounting platform that was built for the cloud. They call it beautiful software. It started in New Zealand in 2006 when a technology and accountant guy got together and said there's got to be a better way. They ended up, and I guess it's a lot easier to take your company public down there, so they became a public company, got a pretty good market share, and decided to expand to Australia. Then they expanded to the UK, and then finally in 2011 they came to the US. But basically what it is it's an alternative to QuickBooks. And the biggest challenge that they have right now is obviously are getting people to know about it and what it is, which is great to be here telling all the tag members to take a look at Xero and what it is, because it's frankly a new way of doing things.
We're familiar with desktop solutions,
yeah.
But let's go into a little bit about the difference between that and cloud accounting. But I think most of us live in this kind of new normal,
sure.
Web and mobile integration. The whole. I was talking to a CIO the other day that said, big data is yesterday. Now it's fast data. So
That's right.
There's a lot of issues that are coming into play in terms of, quote-unquote, the transaction space. In my world, I would say accounting has got a whole lot to do with that, even though it's the process, not necessarily the act. But maybe go into a little bit so that our listeners can, maybe they're not as accomplished and educated as you might think they are in terms of accounting software, the new ones, compared to a desktop solution in terms of how the cloud accounting works. I would guess things like security and operational intelligence have got to play a role.
And obviously we'll talk about security as a biggie. But first to kind of answer what cloud accounting is cloud accounting is really a combination of accounting software and cloud computing. A lot of people know what cloud computing is, but they don't really know that it can be applied to accounting software. So the accounting software side might do your general ledger, paying your bills, banking, things like that, where the cloud computing is what a lot of people are doing. And you put the two together, and that's where this term cloud accounting has come from. And to answer the second part of your question really is what are the differences between cloud accounting and desktop solutions are. And I could talk about this for hours, but I'm going to hit a couple of the highlights. You mentioned security, which is a biggie, and I love telling the story about how when I was visiting data centers that there's no way that accounting firms or companies frankly can keep their data as safe in their office than these companies that all they do is data center. Keep it. And that's physical security, access security, all the different levels of really every kind of security you can possibly imagine. And that's what people are doing when they use these SaaS programs. Is basically they're relying on these companies, and of course you check them out and do your diligence, make sure they have their audit reports and everything on their technology. But basically you're kind of outsourcing that security part to people that I think can do it way better than we can. So security is a biggie. Another one is accessibility. With a desktop, basically you're kind of limited to working and doing your books or doing your other things that you do to run your business while sitting at your desktop. Some people might dial in through a virtual server or things like that. But with SaaS-based programs, you pretty much can access your data from anywhere, anytime, on any device, which is really quite amazing. And a lot of people nowadays with the mobile workforce and work-life balance, you can balance your checkbook and invoice your customers while you're sitting on the beach on your laptop.
I think the numbers are like 20 or 30%. I can't remember exactly that people are accessing websites on mobile versus
exactly.
Laptop,
so Xero has a thing called Xero Touch also, where you can actually invoice on the fly and even reconcile right on your phone, which is crazy. A couple other differences are extensibility. Basically where they have an ecosystem where because it was developed for the cloud and because it's built on an open API infrastructure, it's really easy for developers to build programs that connect with it. So think about gaming and mobile games where it's really easy to develop programs. Well, someone decides there's a need for being able to connect your shopping cart and your e-commerce to your accounting program. Well, somebody built it. Say I want to run my payroll, but I want to basically not have to record my payroll, every 2 weeks or twice a month. Somebody built a connection between the payroll services and the accounting. So basically the idea is each one of these functions will get connected with your accounting data where you can get to the point that there's zero data entry. And if you don't have data entry, you eliminate errors, you eliminate time, and you save money.
But it's structured data? Obviously it's coming from multiple sources, so I'm going to guess there's some form of analytics manages it, that gives you the instant information?
Exactly. So basically, because of the way it was structured, and I'm not a coder or developer by any means. I'm a CPA and accountant. But basically, the way the two systems connect is, think about it like a bridge. Somebody built a bridge. So when you hit the button to pay your payroll, where you log in, assuming you're using an online type payroll service, you hit the button to pay your payroll, it automatically makes a call to Xero. It sends the data to Xero. You've done a mapping when you set it up to tell it where to go and what it is, and it gets recorded. You basically, if you have your two programs up on your two screens, if you're using two screens, you can actually see it show up immediately. It's pretty amazing.
Well, as you're describing it, I'm thinking, how can you do without it? Because everything else is changing into that same platform. To integrate something like this within the context, it either will accelerate the inevitable or slow down what you're trying to accomplish and bring in more challenges if you don't have it.
Exactly. And once you use it, it's pretty powerful. People don't go backwards.
Talk a little bit about HPC's relationship to Xero, and who do I do business with? How do I engage the software?
Good question. So basically, HPC, as I said, we're a full-service CPA firm. We just happen to be, we will call ourselves tech-savvy CPAs. We operate differently than most CPAs do. We operate completely through the cloud, completely paperlessly. We do basically outsourced back office. We have virtual CFOs, tax services through the cloud, all of which is different. What the relationship between Xero and HPC is basically we have chosen Xero as our platform as a way to deliver our services. So think about it that we're basically a full-service CPA firm that basically has wrapped our services around the Xero platform and the Xero ecosystem. And basically we use it for financials and ledger and reconciliations, just like someone might use QuickBooks. But basically, we're still a CPA firm. They just happen to be the platform of choice for us. And because of the relationship, they encourage small businesses to basically utilize and set up and frankly support their software through partners. And they have a partner program, and we were very early on one of their partner programs, and basically we've moved up the food chain. They have different levels like bronze, silver, gold, platinum. There's only 2 platinum partners in the United States right now. We happen to be one of them. And then they basically push small businesses that want to get on Xero to us because they know that small businesses and entrepreneurs have a much better experience with accounting and their software if they use it through basically a partner and a CPA.
I was just going to say, but using an accountant rather than a programmer.
And it doesn't have to be a CPA. There can be a bookkeeper too. But basically, they absolutely have a much better experience. And over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of people who've contacted us and then tried to do it themselves, and then 6 months later come back, and we clean it up and fix it up for them, and they love it.
So in other words, when you, again, the process would be to engage you, and then either someone has gone directly to Xero and would eventually be recommended back to its platinum partner, ideally HPC, and then you would handle the account service and the implementation? We'd
set them up. We'd help them with integration. And integrations that we do, if you think about it, and most businesses, when they do a software integration, they're spending $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 to do it. I mean, in this environment and the way we do it, you can get integrated different pieces, whether it be your shopping cart, your inventory, your payroll, your bill paying, whatever, integrated with an accounting software for a few $1,000s. It's really changed because a lot of the back-end work has already been done. You just have to know how to hook it up and, frankly, how to know what works for what kind of businesses. And because we've done hundreds of these, frankly, we've learned that, and we'd love to share the knowledge and share our best practices with other companies. And we're here talking to TAG members. For technology companies with electronic transactions, software companies, our solution is really, really a good fit. And a day doesn't go by where somebody doesn't tell us they don't just love the model. Even if they don't use us, they love the model because it's innovative and it's different.
Well, you've covered several of them. Want to go any deeper in the companies that benefit the most, say?
Sure. So I was talking about software companies and companies that have electronic transactions, because one of the big things about HPC and Xero is we believe in zero data entry. Mm-hmm. When companies say we need to do input, we're like, well, we don't have input. We don't want there to be input. We try to make sure there is no data entry and no data input. We try to connect systems where a lot of that is done, which obviously eliminates error and saves time. So basically for us, we've kind of over a couple of years figured out a couple of verticals that it makes sense for and that we can actually add a lot of value. So our verticals happen to be technology companies, software companies, professional services organizations, could be consultants, IT. We're actually doing work with venture capital and private equity because a lot of times they don't really need a full accounting staff to do what they do. Plus, it'd be nice to have their systems the same as the companies that they invest in. We're working with angel investors. And one of the other benefits of the cloud, which we didn't talk about, is our last vertical, which is frankly one of the most fun for us, is that we happen to also help international companies come from overseas to the U.S. So many of the companies already know Xero overseas. They're looking for a Xero partner to help them set up in the U.S. Well, one of the things that we do is we'll help them get situated here, and that would include kind of playing quarterback. So it could be, the attorney, the insurance, the immigration, the whole thing, and then also getting them set up with space and people, setting up their whole back office, and then basically they outsource it to us. And everyone overseas, including the home office, has access to all the data because it's through the cloud. It's all updated 24/7. It's a really neat model, and that's the most interesting thing is we actually have clients on 6 continents right out of Atlanta in our office.
It was funny because one of the things I was leading to, because I was curious about it, was worldwide business processes and how does it integrate with other systems. And really, isn't that the future when you really get through with it? All things being said, the process of integration, the process of no data entry begins to you make a ubiquitous relationship with your vendors as well as your
That's
clients
right.
and your customers.
Vendors, customers, and frankly your service providers. Because the data is up to date all the time, and because we can look at the same data at the same time, we basically can provide a lot of value and provide advisory services to our clients in real time. You don't have to wait till the end of the year to send your file off to your accountant and have them do what they do. It's up to date all the time. So we're doing planning, both business planning, tax planning, all throughout the year with our clients. Much closer relationship. Much closer relationship. Frankly, the clients don't leave as much. I mean, just to kind of put it bluntly.
Well, the obvious next question is I'm interested. You really tweaked my interest. I'm sitting here with a situation that pretty much you sound like you got a solution. How do I get engaged? What do I do next?
Sure. So what I always encourage people is, and you're right, a lot of people have not heard of Xero. I mean, in HPC, we're happen to be a small tech-based CPA firm. I recommend going to Xero.com and checking out the software. You can set up a free account, free trial, no credit card.
That's
play with the demo.
by the way.
Xero.com.
Yeah.
Check out our website, hpccpa.com. That's hpccpa.com. Stands for Harshman, Phillips and Company, CPA. But it kind of talks about, what we do and how we do it and why it's different. And, you asked earlier what kind of people would benefit. Most of the people that come to us and that find us really want to embrace technology to make their life better. And I know that sounds kind of crazy coming from an accountant, but nobody wants to do bookkeeping or accounting. But if you can make it better and fun and easy and time-saving, those people are really, really, really good fits for kind of the solution that we're talking about. And that's why technology companies are really good fit. And frankly, that's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Well, it sounds to me like the answer finally to me being able to be on my sailboat off of Belize and still keep track of my worldwide business, it's got to fall somewhere into a zero-based balance, to use a cliche. But it sounds like you got the solution, and it's been exciting, interesting, and I think really informative. I think a lot of our listeners will want to learn more about it. Bruce, thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to spend a few minutes with us explaining the whole situation and joining us today on Tech Talk.
I'm thrilled to do it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad to share. Thank you for having me.